What is going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back. Good to see you guys. I see some comments already flowing in. Before we get too crazy into the things, I know, was it Corey last week that asked about the ticker? And I said I keep forgetting about it. Finally got it updated. We're so back. Hopefully everyone's name is spelt right. Yeah, feels good to be back. I love doing the lives on Tuesday. I think it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy interacting with you guys. So appreciate you guys being here, hanging out, and all that fun stuff. All right, let's take a look. I see some comments in here already. Tully, what's up, man? Tully was in here before I even went live. At least I hope it was before I went live, because he commented while I was still kind of setting up my studio. And I hope you couldn't see that. Not that I was doing anything like crazy, anything like that, but like setting up my camera equipment and making sure everything's focused probably does not need to be live streamed. So good to see you. Swag Coda, who said he's currently watching from Menominee, which is our hometown. Good to see you, Swag Coda. Heather, good to see you as always. Kirby, good to see you, man. Ron and Appleton, good to see you as always, sir. Thanks for hanging out. We got Ben over in Cali. How's it going, man? Got Corey and potentially Logan. Good to see you guys. Steve, good to see you as always. Scotty P, what's up, buddy? Watching from Wilson. Christy, good to see you as well. Okay, couldn't see me, which is good. Just showed upcoming live video. Okay, I always wonder, because I normally don't get comments on anything before I go live, so it always kind of throws me off. Before we get too into the weeds, let's drop this giveaway link. Let me grab that real quick. If it is your first time watching, if it is, if you've never been here before, you've never participated, there is a link there that I just pasted. Fill that out, and you will be entered for your chance to win a prize later on in the show. You don't have to be here consistently throughout the entire time to win. However, you do need to be here to claim your prize. So when we do the giveaway later on in the show, just make sure you're present. So just keep it up in the background or check back occasionally. Yeah. Let's see here. I see some other ones. Sam, good to see you, man. Are you making the venture up to Green Bay this year? If so, I'd love to get together. Michelle checking in from PA. Jason, my guy, good to see you, man. Love it. Welcome. Speaking of a dude I gotta get together with, and that is my guy Jason. Hope all is going well. Jason has like the coolest setup. Jason is what I aspire to be one day, except I'm not nearly as social as Jason. Jason at his house has this like bar packer room in the back of his house, and all his neighbors come to his house on game days. And Jason's setup is so awesome that every time you have a drink at his house, he keeps like a running tally of all of the drinks that have been consumed at his Packer bar thing. And then like the top, like the big dogs, like I think his neighbor has like an excessive amount, but his neighbor is like, has his number up in the rafters kind of thing. Like he's the king of the Falk. Oh, what is it? The Falk Den or something like that. It's like the Falcon Packers house or whatever it is. I'm butchering it, Jason, but I had the pleasure of going to his house for one game. It was super fun. And then every game they do like a different theme. And maybe it's not every game, Jason. I might be talking out of my rear end, but I think when we were there, it was like the German, my memory's terrible, but it might have been like the German theme where people are bringing like brats and sauerkraut and different like German themed dishes. Jason does it right. I will never be that social in my life. I love my neighbors, but I will never be that social in my life. So Jason's a cool guy. Let's see here. Steve, you said you're not seeing the link. Try to sort by like newest comments. Sometimes it does it by most or like most like the highest rated comment or something like that. I'll be posting it a couple times, so let me know if you don't see it. Michelle, good to see you as well. Thanks for checking in from Pennsylvania. Love Pennsylvania. Great area. I need to get back to Pittsburgh soon. I miss that. Looking at the October 12th. Yeah, let me know, man. It would be awesome to see and get together. Felix Packer. Felix Packer in the back bar. It was Bacon Sunday. That's what it was. We had Bacon Sunday. But if I'm not mistaken, I think you've done German and stuff like that too. It's such a fun time. It's such a cool time. And Sam, you said you need to be friends with Jason. Dude, you two would get along very well. You're both very same energy, just like having a good time. So yeah, you would be Jason's the man, Sam's the man. Both are great people I've been fortunate to meet through the internet. Sam, you and I go back all the way to like my OG Twitter days, so it's been a minute. Steve, did you get that link? If not, I'll repaste it again for you before I start talking about the game and before we start going on the game. How's everyone? Okay, found it. How's everyone's week going? Hopefully it's a good week. Packers are coming off a victory, preseason victory, but hey, I'll take any victory I can get. The game was, I know a lot of people hate preseason football. But I thought it was a pretty fun game to watch, especially that second half where first half there wasn't a whole lot going on. It was a very sloppy first half. It seemed like they maybe settled in a little bit more in that second half, which was fun to see. The first half was pretty brutal though. I think I saw, well, we'll talk about it here in a little bit. As far as the actual how many penalties and such, but that second half was really fun, and that not catch that in the game, which was interesting, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. Before I do anything though, before I talk about any of that, last week while doing a live show, someone sent me 99 stars. I don't know what that necessarily means. I know it's a monetary gift. I think it's like I think it's how Facebook does like small donations or whatever. So Billy Hayes, I don't know if you're watching. It doesn't show me in StreamYard if someone sends me stars. I have no idea. But Billy Hayes, thank you so much for sending them. I had no idea. It is definitely not needed for anyone to send me stars. Come in, hang out, throw comments in there. That's awesome. I definitely don't need anyone to send stars. But I really appreciate it, Billy. That was really generous of you, and I'm sorry I missed it. I would love to know that I'm getting sent stars or getting sent something like that, where it'd be cool if StreamYard would show me. So StreamYard is what I use to go live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I would hope there'd be some way to show me, but it just doesn't show me, unfortunately. So thanks, Billy. I don't know if you're watching. But yeah, I thought the game was a lot of fun. So we started off, first series was pretty solid. We get into a scoring position, we kind of fizzle out there. And I got to be honest with you. I was driving at the time, and we're heading home from Door County. And I heard the kicker missed the field goal. I thought it was McManus, to be honest with you. I wasn't really paying attention. I was like, oh man, McManus missed like a pretty short field goal. That's quite unlike him, but everyone has their moments, even kickers. And then I saw that Mark McNamee missed the kick. And I saw the name, and it looks like Mark McNamee. And I was like, is someone making like a meme that it wasn't Brandon McManus? Like the way his name is spelled, McNamee, kind of looks like you're like making up a name for a person. Like McNamee is obviously I would assume how you pronounce it, McNamee. But just looking at it on paper, it looks like a fake person. But he's a real person. He's like an Irish kicker. So it's kind of unfortunate for him when you're coming into a league where the team has McManus and they just re-signed him. So the odds of you making the team are next to impossible. But hopefully you can put out enough good tape to maybe land yourself a job down the way. Unfortunately, when you're missing short kicks like that, it's probably not going to help you. But if I'm not mistaken, he made a couple later on in the game, so hopefully kind of bounce back on that. Penalties, man, we talked about the sloppy half a little bit, but 11 penalties for 85 yards in the first half, 5 of which were on Anthony Belton, which is not what you want to see at all from your second round pick. But on the flip side, it's good to get those out of the way in preseason. We talked about last week how some of these guys in training camp, because they're not dealing with the full brunt of the pass rush the same way, it's not in practice, it's just not the same as regular gameplay, that they might start getting used to maybe getting a little bit more handsy as far as holding, and it's not getting called. So then they kind of start doing that more often because it helps them with pass coverage or run coverage or run blocking, pass blocking, where in the actual game they're going to call it more often. But he had a false start, they'll call those in practice. He had a face mask, they'll call those in practice. Illegal formations, I think he had a couple of those, and then he had an unnecessary roughness. 2 of those penalties wiped out some pretty sizable plays, so you obviously don't want to see that. But hopefully they can clean it up. Second half, it looked like he cleaned it up. I think it was Rashid that was saying how everyone was chirping at him about it, and it's just like, okay, after a while he gets the message. He knows he needs to play better. Of course, he's not oblivious to it. He knows he needs to play better. So, and then, we unfortunately saw some injuries. Marshawn Lloyd has so much potential to be such a strong back in the NFL. He has a lot of flash and he can make a lot of big plays when he's on the field, but he, at this point, seems like one of those guys that just has found the injury bug. And I don't think it's any fault of his own. Last year, he missed with an injury for a good chunk of time. And when he was ready to come back, he had appendicitis and then it knocked him out again. This year, he's been battling some injuries. He's back. And then he gets hit on a wheel route kind of looking thing down the sideline and has a hamstring injury that he's going to miss some time. So that's just how it goes sometimes. Some of these guys just have the unfortunate luck of getting these random injuries time after time after time, and it can really derail a career, can really derail a player's confidence. So hopefully we can see him in the regular season come in. I don't know if he's going to start the year on the physically unable to perform list or if he's going to be able to go earlier than what they're hoping, or earlier than what the pup list would be. But you kind of feel for those types of guys that just really don't get the opportunity, and it is bad luck. There's only so much you can do. It's not like he's not going out there and stretching, or he's not like warming up. Sometimes it just happens when you're trying to make sharp cuts, or in his case, he kind of got tackled or hit a little bit weird, and it just kind of takes you out. The other one that we saw was Baron Sorrell. We saw, I think Omar Brown got carted out as well, and I saw he had to spend the night in the hospital. I didn't see an update on him, so hopefully he's okay. But Baron Sorrell sprained his MCL on the special teams play. I think it was a punt return that he sprained it on. Doesn't sound like he'll be out more than a few weeks, so I don't think he's going to be on the physical and unable to perform list to start the season. I think he'll be able to come back sooner than that. Let's see here, just kind of looking at some comments before we get too crazy into it. Steve said, seeing and hearing my son do the Go Pack Go chant at the Indy game for his first game was amazing. That's awesome, man. What a first, I know people razz on preseason games, but it is such a fun opportunity to take younger kids to the game. Tickets are generally not that expensive. And when your kid's at this age of, are they going to be able to sit through the whole thing? Are they not? It's a perfect opportunity. Now, Steve, I don't know how old your son is, but if you're seeing the Packers in your area, if you're not living in Green Bay and being able to see the Packers in your area at a good price, it's something you can't pass up, right? So that's awesome that he got a chance to go see the Packers play, get some Go Pack Go chants in person. And I don't know, how was the game? How was the atmosphere in Indy? I've never been to the stadium over there or anything like that, so I'm curious how that was. Yeah, Jason says my week is going better than Anthony Belton's. I bet, although he's a millionaire. That's true. He's got us there, man. You know, with that Anthony Belton, like we all have bad days at our jobs. At least I do. I make a lot of mistakes at my job. The difference is I'm fortunate that my mistakes aren't broadcasted to millions of people, and there's not people doing like podcasts on my job, like my performance of my job every day. There's not people dissecting my performance every day for thousands, millions of people to read on the internet. So yeah, I mean it's tough, but at least he's he's doing all right. He's got a long career ahead of him. So we're all gonna have a bad day at the office. Yes, he missed a PAT as well. That's right. Thanks for correcting that, Ben. Chad says, no better feeling than watching your kids experience a game. Man, even family night's so fun to have Mason, who's 2, be able to experience family night and have him do some go pack go chants. And as much as it pained me, he also enjoyed the wave, which I am very anti-wave. So Scott said, can you repost the entry link? Yeah, absolutely. Here's the entry link again. If you did not get it, it is right there in the comments. Rowdy, you're probably right. I think I said pup list. I think there's like there's another thing. What is it where you start the season? I don't know that it's IR, but maybe it is. I'm probably just using the wrong term. Thanks for calling that out, Rowdy. Keith, good to see you, sir. I just got your gift card in the mail the other day, so I'm sorry I'm really late on that. Good to see you though. Alfonso, good to see you as well. I see Raimundo has a big question there. Oh, what better time, I guess. I know we do burning hot questions. Do I want to leave that for burning hot questions? Is there going to be am I going to remember to go back and do that for burning hot questions? Is a better question. Probably not. So let's just do it now. Raimundo, this is a book. You're testing my reading comprehension here. Good afternoon, the Green Bay guy. Do you see the Packers making a huge splash and going after Micah Parsons? I did see a podcast with Jordan Love and Micah Parsons. One of the questions that Micah was asked was who would Green Bay recruit to make huge impact on the team? And Jordan said that the man Micah Parsons himself. Gave me chills if this has been cooking under the table, but how crazy this would be. I think the big thing is the compensation. I know we're in I was chatting, I think I was texting Kirby about this. We're talking how much compensation would you be comfortable to give up? I would imagine the Cowboys are going to want multiple first round picks. Well, 2 to 3 first round picks easily would be my guess. And that's if they're even willing to send them. For the Cowboys to send them to the Packers, it might even be more expensive given our history as of late against the Cowboys. I haven't watched the documentary, but I saw Jerry Jones said that the Packers beating them in the playoffs back the 23 season was the worst loss that they've ever been handed, kind of thing. I might have missed the full context of the clip. Maybe it was like the worst loss as of late or what have you, but I think maybe that was his most painful one he can remember. So I don't know that he'd be as happy to give someone up, a dynamic player to the Packers without significant value. And I don't know that I would want to give up. Let's throw it out to you guys. Would you want to give up 3 first rounders for Micah Parsons? I don't know that I would want to. I know it's like, okay, Micah Parsons is a great talent, but he's had his injury issues as well. I just don't know. That's a lot of capital to give up for one player. And the last thing I want to do is kind of have it be like a Herschel Walker trade where you're giving up a ton of draft capital for a guy who maybe I don't think it'd be the same thing. Herschel was obviously on his way out at that point, and I think Micah's still only 26. But I'd just be concerned about giving up too much draft capital and you're kind of setting your franchise backwards. Not that every GM is going to hit on first round picks. But man, one bad injury or one bad year, and now you're drafting top 8. And rather than getting that pick, like look at Carolina giving up all these picks for Bryce Young, and then they get the first overall pick the following year, and they don't even get it because Chicago now owns it. And I think it's tough when you give up so much draft capital and you're running these risks. So I don't think he'll be a Packer. I think it'd be very, very expensive for the Packers. Like 3 first rounds plus would be what I would imagine that they'd be wanting at least. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. What would you give up to get Micah Parsons? Steve said he's 6. Sent you the video. Awesome. I'll have to check it out later, man. Appreciate you sending it. Michelle says there's no place like Lambeau. I couldn't agree more, Michelle. You know, one thing I always try to be mindful of is how fortunate I am to be in Green Bay. And I go to Lambeau Field probably weekly. My son and I, my wife as well, but not always. It's sometimes it's just my son and I. Like this week, I have Friday off. My son and I will be hanging out together. I'm sure we'll be over at Titletown. I know for sure we'll go to the pro shop. Mason loves going to the pro shop. He loves riding the escalators. I don't know what's up with little kids and escalators. We drive by Lambeau Field. Mason goes, Lambeau. And then he says, he tries to say escalators, but that's a hard word for a 2-year-old. He loves escalators at Lambeau Field. So if you ever go to the pro shop, you might see me riding the escalators with my son. A lot of comments I'm catching up on. So I know we're going to be doing some burning hot questions. So let me know how you guys prefer it. I like to try to strike a balance of recapping stuff and interacting, and I don't want it to be one side too heavy, right? I want to make sure I'm interacting with you guys and talking about the game. So if you feel like I'm reading too many comments or what have you, just let me know. I like to keep a balance here. Steve says the fans were great. I was even getting compliments on my jersey from Colts fans. It was a split home away white jersey. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I think those AFC NFC games are a lot more chill just because it's not a huge rivalry. Yeah, I have some notes in here actually to talk about Jordan Morgan. So this is a good transition here, Jason. So Jason says Jordan Morgan is looking like a dude too. This line is going to be so stout this year. Yeah, I love what we're seeing from Jordan Morgan. He has looked the part at left tackle, which that is a great problem to have when you have Rashid and him both performing at a high level at left tackle. Now it's preseason and there's a lot of football left. But man, he's looking the part. He looks like he can move around the line too. I think he's played guard before. So to have that versatility and to have that depth is exactly what you want on your NFL line. And this is exactly what you want. So I'm glad to hear that he's doing good things, and I'm glad to hear that it looks like he's kind of fitting in. So I love it. Dakota says 2 firsts and Sean Clifford. Dakota, that's practically equivalent to 4 first rounders, right? Look at what the Cowboys got for Herschel Walker. I think I'm probably just catching up on comments after the fact, so sorry. Keith says he'd look good in the green and gold, but would cost too much. Michelle says no way. Chad says not 3, maybe 2, but then I'd feel would be cursed somehow. Steve says go after Hendrickson. Bengals want a first round and a young defensive player. That's tough though, Steve. I get like the idea of, Hendrickson's probably a cheaper asset, but he's also 31 years old. I don't know. I mean, Reggie was 35 when the Packers signed him. I could be wrong. That sounds wrong. Because he got here in 92 and he left in 98. There's no way he was 35 when the Packers signed him. That has to be wrong. Maybe when they signed him to a contract later on in his career, but I think giving up a first round and a young defensive player for a 31-year-old aging pass rusher is tough. Although I love Hendrickson and I love his motor, that dude just goes. Ben says first round and 2 second round picks. Is Jerry into wings? We could trade him for some legendaries. I mean, I'd trade whatever for some legendaries. I'm down for legendaries anytime. Kyle says, "Go Pack, go, my friends. Go Pack, go, man." Sam knows more than anyone here. No, I don't know. Maybe don't know more than anyone, but you're in Texas, and we're going with that. I live in Texas. I know how good he is, but there are 10 extra sacks more than LVN worth the 30 to 40 million. Yeah. That's the thing too, is like you're taking on a huge contract to go with it. It's not just giving up draft capital. You are giving up a big contract to go with it and the salary with that. I don't, yeah, you hit it right on the head. We'll definitely lose others with that cap hit. That's a big cap hit. You're not wrong there. Reggie was 32 when he came to town. Thank you, Rowdy. Appreciate you fact checking me. I was gonna say I said 35, and I was like, "There's no way that's right. There's no way." In '92 I think he joined the Packers in the '93 season, but there's no way he's 35 coming in. But either way, he's in his early 30s when the Packers signed him. Still kind of an aging player to be signed to a big contract, and he made a difference. So I don't know. There's a reason I'm sitting here and I'm not in the Packers front office. Oh wow, this would be a big one, Jeremy. I don't know about this. Unless I'm are you saying this is Parsons and Parsons for 2 firsts, a second, and Lucas? Dude, there's no way I would give that up for Micah Parsons plus that salary cap hit. No chance. That's way too rich for me. Everyone has their own opinion, and I respect that. All right, let's just recap the rest of this real quick, and then we're going to get in some burning hot questions. I love doing the answering questions, whether they're random questions, football questions, whatever. One thing I wanted to talk about that I saw, I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I wanted to. So one thing I saw, the Packers and their home opening kickoff, or their home opening game, I guess the home kickoff, the home season kickoff, whatever, week 1, whatever the hell I'm trying to say, week 1 against the Lions. The Packers are going to honor the 15-year anniversary for the Super Bowl XLV Packers. One, it's wild to think that it's already been 15 years. That blows my mind. But it sounds like Mike McCarthy's going to be there as well, which I hope he gets a really positive response from Packers fans. I know a lot of fans get mad at him, but I love Mike McCarthy. I've met him a handful of times. He's always been such an incredible dude. Super nice, super fan friendly, and just a great guy. And I'm really curious who else is going to be there. I love the 2009, 2010 season are some of my favorites. 2011 was great. You're kind of riding high off that, but that 3-year window was so fun to see you kind of growing into that championship team, to see that run the team made. The 2010 season, I went to 7 games that year. Most in Green Bay. I went to the Minnesota game where the Packers absolutely annihilated the Vikings, and then their stadium collapsed like 2 weeks later. The 2010 season just felt like such good revenge against the Vikings. You know, you have that first game against the Vikings with Brett Favre in 2010. It was a tight one. Favre made a lot of mistakes, including throwing a pick six to my guy Desmond Bishop. But ultimately, you know, he still had a chance to win the game at the end. Had that touchdown throw that was it Percy Harvin or Sidney Rice? And it might not even be either of those, but where the guy, I think it was it Harvin, where he caught it and came down and his one foot was just on the line. And it was just such a nail biter of a game that when the Packers won, I was so euphoric afterwards. To me, I was more euphoric after that first Packers Vikings game in 2010 than I was when the Packers won the Super Bowl. And I think the Super Bowl didn't feel real, so it didn't really hit me right away like the beating the Vikings that year did. Overall, that Super Bowl win was obviously greater, but as far as like immediate how I felt, that beating the Vikings that year was like way more euphoric for me. And it took probably a few hours for the feeling of, oh man, we did win the Super Bowl to really set in after that. But that season was awesome. I love that they're going to honor these guys. I hope we see a lot of the XLV roster there. It'd be great to have them in town. It's going to be great. I hope the crowd's loud for them. I hope that really sets the energy level for the game, and hopefully the Lions just get crushed to go with it. So, excuse me. All right, I'm gonna post this link, and then we're gonna get into some burning hot questions once I read through these. I think there's gonna be some signings around. I would be surprised if there wasn't. So keep an eye out. All right. Awesome. There is that. Start dropping your questions if you got them, and let's get into these burning hot questions. Before we get into questions, I want to say thank you so much to Legendaries for taking the time to sponsor this show all season long. I really appreciate them. They have been so great to work with, and honestly, even if they weren't sponsoring me, I'd be singing their praise. I love Legendaries. For years I've been talking about Legendaries. I've sent so many people to Legendaries, and I love Legendaries. They are the best wings I've ever had, and their sauces are award-winning sauces. Their DOA, I can't get enough of it. I use way too much DOA. Like I'm uh, probably gonna have like some medical stuff going on for how much hot sauce I use. But man, it's so good. I don't maybe that's not the best way to sell it, but their sauces are just incredible. They pair really good heat with great flavor. And I don't know how much longer they I think they still have a little bit of the lava sauce left. So if you get in there, try to get some of the lava sauce before it is gone. It is a limited time sauce. And like we've talked about, it is not a super, despite the name, it's not a super hot sauce. It's more of a sweet heat, really sweet, like flavor notes, and a little bit of heat in the back end there. So great sauce. I'm really excited to see what they come out with next for their next limited time sauce. Start dropping those questions if you got them. Let's talk about it. All right. Mike and Driver's daughters play Mike Daniels, or no, Mike McCarthy's. My brain went to Mike Daniels, but I would assume Mike McCarthy's. Mike and Driver's daughters play in a volleyball league in Dallas and are always super friendly to Packers fans. Donald Driver is another guy. I met him at a charity event for Desmond's back in 2012. That sounds right. 2012, maybe 2011. I think it's 2012 though. Either way, not important. I met him at a charity event, and I was super nervous to meet him because it's one of those things of you never want to meet someone you grew up idolizing, right? You don't want to meet your idols. You don't want to meet people that these athletes or these stars that you're fans of, because it might change your perception of them. I was wearing a suit because it was a fashion charity event, and I was working it with for Desmond, and I was wearing a suit, and I went up to Donald, and Donald immediately was like, "Man, look how nice you look! Look how dapper you look!" Like, kind of throwing all these compliments at me, and I was so kind of like timid. I was like, "Hey, Donald, like, would you mind signing this football for me? I'd really appreciate it." And he was just so over the top great about everything. Still one of the cool pieces I have in my collection. Just a nice football signed by Donald Driver. I was like, you can personalize it, like it's never leaving my collection. And he's just been he was just such a great dude. I walked out of there like, man, thank God he was exactly what you thought he was gonna be, because he was just like over the top great. He was even better than what I anticipated. Didn't feel like I was like bothering him at all, even though he's probably signing autographs and taking pictures with people all night long. Jason said, I felt just as euphoric after Favre threw the game losing interception against the Saints in the championship game. Man, you and me both. I was yelling hoot at people. It was awesome. Awesome memories. Kirby says, does Golden start week 1 as the number 1? I still think you'll see, good question, Kirby. I think you'll see the Packers rotating a lot. I don't know that you'll ever have, at least not for a little while, you don't have that set number 1 guy. And I still think that's a strength and not a weakness. Last year we saw, where it felt like you needed that number one guy. But the year before, we're all saying, oh, how great is it that we don't have a number one guy? So I still think that's a strength. And I think Matthew Golden's only going to bolster that, being a strength of maybe you don't have a definitive number one that any week someone could go off. Dakota says, what year did me, you, and Pete go to the Vikings game with my friend Abby? Believe it was still the dump then. I can't remember. I just remember Woodson, I believe, a pick and bowed into the end zone. So did they? Yeah. What was that? Because that was 2011. Is my memory off on when the stadium collapsed? The stadium roof collapsed in 2010. Right? Like I remember the blizzard. It has to be 2010. But did they still play games in 2011 at the Metrodome? Was it like a temporary fix they did? I think that's probably what they did, right? They started a temporary fix, and then they moved to TCF for while the stadium was being rebuilt. So I think we went in 2011. I think that was Christian Ponder's first game. He opened up the game with a play action pass deep on his first pass. Like everyone on the Packers defense bit on the play action and he just hucked it. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, if my memory serves me. Chad has tried any good cheese curds lately. Chad. So Chad's asking this. As you guys see, you're probably seeing that I'm doing cheese curd reviews every week. And Chad's being a smart aleck, I think, asking this because I am very sick of cheese curds. Cheese curds are great. I love cheese curds. I love fried cheese curds. But I think fried cheese curds are great when you're not eating them every single week. Usually it's like, maybe every couple months you might have some fried cheese curds. You're not eating 6 ounces of fried cheese curds by yourself every single week. So I think I'm going to kind of start slowing down maybe on those. I might do them every other week or every few weeks. I might do a cheese curd review. But this week, the cheese curd review, I think, is for non-fried cheese curds. So try to give my body a little bit of break. I'm trying to think, what was the best cheese curd I've had as of late? I mean, I think Kroll's West, I don't like as a restaurant, but I think their cheese curds were pretty solid. The white cheese curds were pretty solid, but oh man. Kyle says, what do you think the record will be this season? Kyle, I am not superstitious, but I am a little stitious and I don't do record predictions. We're going to just win them all. How about that? Christy, this is a good question. Clifford, or I can't even remember how to say it. Agurzma, I think it is. Man, that's tough. Because Clifford obviously has more of the pedigree, right? He went to college, Penn State. He has a record with the Packers that they know what they have, but that's also can be a downside. What his ceiling is, where Agurzma, the Canadian Football League quarterback, he's a big dude. He looked very promising. He obviously had some throws that probably want back, some risky throws. I saw him put a shoulder into a guy, which was pretty fun, but he's like 6'4", 6'5". He's not afraid to take a hit. He looks fun. I could see the Packers maybe moving on from Clifford, and if they keep a third quarterback, maybe keeping something that you don't maybe know what the ceiling is. Now, I haven't been to all the training camps. I haven't, the coaches obviously know these guys a lot better than I do, but I don't know. It should be interesting to see how that goes. Tony, this is a great question. If Malik continues to play good, do the Packers trade him? I don't know. I might have been talking to someone at work about this because this is a tough question, right? Do you keep Malik on your bench and have that insurance policy in case Jordan were to go down for 1 to 2 weeks, whatever? Maybe you have a guy come in, can eke out a win or two. His contract's up at the end of the year, so you don't get anything back for him. You just let him go hit free agency. You might get a compensation pick. I don't think you'd get a compensation pick for a backup quarterback. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't get a compensation pick for a backup quarterback. Or do you take the risk, trade him to try to get something for him. You saw Mike Holmgren or Ron Wolf, Mike Holmgren would do that a lot in the 90s, where they would build up quarterbacks and trade them for capital and kind of groom another quarterback. So maybe that could be a plan too, but I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I go back and forth on it. I think it depends what you could potentially get from Malik that would dictate on if you were willing to trade him away. But if it's something like a 6th-round pick, I think you'd rather have the insurance policy. If it were a 2nd-round pick, I think you'd be, okay, we're going to take the risk and trade him away to get some good capital. So I think it just depends on what it were. Ben says, where are the smelling salts this week? They're still on my desk, Ben. They're right here. I think they still work. We'll see. I haven't done one yet. They're all kind of like stuck together. I don't know. They're breaking them up a little bit. Let's see if they still work. People are going to think I'm addicted to smelling salts. Can't even see where the cap is to open these. Here they go. Oh, that's right. There's a cardboard thing on there. Thanks, Kirby. Appreciate you, man. Oh, okay. Here, Steve, I got you, man. I'm actually going to be I think I'm going to be going there this week. Steve says, where is the best mom and pop farm where I can get some cheese when I come to town looking for a hidden gem? Dude, look no further than Scray Cheese. Scray Cheese is my spot. I go there way too often. I love Scray Cheese. It is this cheese factory in the middle of nowhere. It's not like super far out of town, but there's not much around it. It's at like a 4-way stop out in the middle of kind of the country. But what I love about it is you go in, it's this tiny shop, fresh cheese curds 5 days a week, super fresh, like squeak. If you're coming and you're coming to town and you're like, hey, I want fresh cheese curds. If you see cheese curds and they are in a fridge, they are not fresh. Scrays are always sitting out. They're fresh. What I love about Scrays, they have like a window. You can see where they make the cheese curds. It's all right there. They have all their stuff in this it's like a little shop and then the factory off of it. You can see everything. They have a lot of great cheeses. They have a lot of different varieties that they make. They have their fresh cheese curds. They do 5 days a week. They have ice cream. They have some other little small local stuff, but Scray's Cheese is my favorite cheese place, leaps and bounds in Green Bay. I love their cheese curds. When it comes to cheese curds, for me, I'm not big on them if they're overly salty. A lot of times cheese curds can be a little bit too salty. So when you're eating, your palate just gets blown out with salt. Scrays, I can eat way too many cheese curds and I don't feel that like kind of overload of salt. I don't know. I love Scray cheese. They're awesome. If you would buy a current player jersey, which one would you go with? Jason, great question. I think I would go Edgerrin Cooper. Edgerrin, I think he's going to be a stud. I'm obviously a fan of linebackers, so I think that's got to be my answer. Yep, Rowdy nailed it. Scray Cheese. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily hidden. It is kind of like in the middle of nowhere, but it's pretty well known around the area. Have you met the mayor? Old Jim was always super nice, as I would bring friends to meet him on Monday after the Sunday game. I have not tried to meet him yet. I've met Eric. If you're saying Eric, like the current mayor, I've met him once at a coffee shop. We didn't have like a, hey, nice to meet you, mayor. It was just like we were both at the coffee shop. I think I just said hi to him, much like I would anyone else, to be honest with you. But I haven't had a particular like meet, if you will. Billy, I don't know if you're here earlier. I thank you for the stars last week. I had no idea you sent stars. It doesn't unfortunately show me. Like, I don't know if you sent stars here. I have no idea. It doesn't show me. If you did, thank you so much. You by no means need to send me stars. just comment, interact. I love having interaction. But if you sent, thank you so much for the stars last week, and if you sent them again here, thank you so much. By no means is that warranted. I just love hanging out with you guys. So thank you, man. I appreciate you. I gave you a shout out earlier in the show because I noticed it earlier today when I was doing some editing on stuff. Like right before the show, I noticed it. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you a call out to you and thanked you for it because it's super generous. By no means, like, no one needs to send me stars or anything like that. I'm just happy to be hanging out with you guys. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Yeah, Dakota, I'm pretty sure it's 2011 that we went. Dakota says I didn't start going to games till after the Super Bowl win, so I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's 2011 against with Christian Ponder's first game. I'm almost positive. All right, Jeremy says Reed, Wicks, Golden, Dobbs, Williams. Who else makes the cut? I gotta post this giveaway link here. We're gonna be doing the giveaway soon, guys. I'm running a little late here, running long-winded, but we'll be doing the giveaway soon. Reed, Wicks, Golden, Dobbs, Williams. Who else makes the cut? Watson to start on IR. Yeah, I think that's where you see Bo Melton. I think he needs to land at cornerback. Otherwise, he's probably not making the team. The Packers are deep at wide receiver. Trying to think, is there anyone that I'm missing that I think I don't know. It's going to be tough, especially if Watson comes back sooner rather than later. That's tough. Katie cheese curds are my favorite ever since I was a little kid. Have you ever had theirs? I'm pretty sure I've had them out there. I've been to like Ellsworth and O'Galley. Pretty sure I've been to Katie cheeses as well. I don't know. They all kind of blend together after a while, right? Heather says the place I go to watch games with at our local Packer backers are selling curds this year. Let's just hope they're not knockoffs. What they're probably just like frozen cheese curds. I can't imagine that they're fresh, depending on where you are. I don't know where you're at actually, Heather. I probably should remember it, but they might not be fresh, but that's okay. Even if they're refrigerated, like a lot of curds you get around here aren't fresh curds. You can still find some really good cheese curds. Great cheese curds. Sorry, just trying to get through this. I want to make sure that I'm answering all these questions. There's a lot of comments, and I like going through all the comments, but I also want to make sure that I'm respecting everyone's times here. Should we be concerned about the defensive backfield? I think it's tough until we actually see the full thing take shape. It's hard to say. Right now it feels that way, but right now we also don't have some of our cornerbacks playing that are our starters. I don't think Nixon's played. I don't think Hobbs has played because Hobbs had an injury. I also think that the Packers could potentially add someone. When other rosters trim down, there's going to be guys that come available that you might see the Packers go after. You might see a player make the initial 53-man roster and then get cut an hour or two, an hour, day, whatever later to sign another player. Unfortunately, that kind of happens. Let's do, I see Dakota and Steve have one here. Let's try to knock these out, and then we're going to draw that giveaway and try to get out of here on time. What is your all-time ultimate starting lineup on offense Packers-wise? Any players go past, present? Man, that's tough. I think you got to go Rodgers at quarterback. Sterling, I'm assuming we're talking everyone in their prime. Rodgers quarterback. Sterling, Sharp. I'd probably go... I don't know. It's tough because then you get into the argument of could Don Hudson compete in today's era? I think Bakhtiari at left tackle. Man, it's tough because I don't remember being younger. I remember guys like Clifton was solid, right? And Tauscher was solid, but I was also younger, so I don't remember their dominance the same way. I'll go Rodgers. Amon Green would be hard to say no to. Once again, that's the argument of could Horning be the guy, right? Could Horning compete in today's game the same way. So I'm kind of going more modern, if you will. I loved watching Ryan Grant play, so I'm going to just throw him in there. He had some incredible seasons. Him and Mon Green would be killer. God, Aaron Jones was so good for us too as a different dynamic. Dude, I don't know. I would honestly need to like sit down and really mull this one. There's a lot there. Maybe I should come back to that sometime. Steve says, I've never stopped at Cheese Castle before we're stopping. I don't know that I've stopped at Mars Cheese Castle either. The tough part, the thing with me is I probably like, people are probably going to be like, oh man, you've never been there. But I feel like when you are, I don't know. I feel like because I'm a local Wisconsinite, right? Like I've been in Wisconsin damn near my whole life. We always have cheese places by us, cheese factories, stuff where we can go get fresh cheese. So when I drive by like the Mars Castle cheese or whatever it is, the Cheese Castle, I don't have a need to stop there. I'm sure that's great cheese. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I've just never had a reason to stop there. I have plenty of sources to get great cheese. Do they go after Rasul Douglas? That's a good question. He's out there. Does Rasul want to come back? Does he feel jaded by how things went? I don't know. Do the Packers give up on Lloyd? I don't think so. You have a rookie contract. I think you ride it out a little bit longer. Maybe you give him another year, and if things don't pan out, maybe he's gone after that. That's another thing. Dorsey was so good in his prime as well. I mean, we've had a lot of really good backs that have played their role, right? Edgar Bennett was a great back, like that third down back, screen back could kind of get you what you needed there. We've been fortunate. We've had a lot of fun running backs in our time. All right, let's do this giveaway. Let's do this giveaway so we can kind of tell the fun story of the week and get out of here and get to bed at a normal time for all of us. Everyone's like, we don't go to bed yet. We're not old like you, Ben. No, I don't go to bed that early, but I do go to bed early. I'm old. I got a 2-year-old that wipes me out. I'm ready for bed most time. So 2 people keep putting, and I don't mind it, the Packer mom and the Packer dad or the Green Bay dad. The only thing is it makes it hard if we were to have your thing come up for me to know that you're here to claim your prize, because I'm not going to see, unless your name is in the chat, the Packer mom, Packer dad. I also see blah, 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 which is Kirby. At least I know who you are, Kirby, but blah, blah, blah. I don't know how you're going to win a prize. I'm not going to be able to know. It comes up blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to know when Kirby says, oh, that's me. How am I supposed to know? You guys are killing me here. All right. Bunch of goofsters and gaffsters, that's for sure. All right. Good luck, everyone. 30 entries. Godspeed. Probably going to be Tiffany again. just to make Kirby mad. All right, Jeremy, you are still here, which I think you just commented not long ago. Yeah, you did. Give me a number between 1 and 35 and up or down, please. And while we're doing that, I want to say thank you so much to Nicolet Law for sponsoring the show. I love working with Nicolet Law. They are an incredible company to work for. Super awesome. Met Russell, Nicolet, super cool dude, super down to earth, like very normal person. I mean, I guess he's just a normal dude like everyone, but you see him all over the place, so it feels wild. But let's do a quick ad read to keep the lights on. But when it comes to injuries, you need a good game plan. That's where Nicolet Law comes in. Insurance companies have their own playbook, and let me tell you, it's not written in your favor. Nicolet Law helps level the playing field. They are based right here in the Midwest, started in Hudson, and Russell is actually a Green Bay graduate, and they've helped thousands of injured folks get back on their feet. They deal with the insurance companies for you, fight to get you what's fair, and they don't get paid unless you win, which is huge. So if you are injured, get Nicolet. Visit nicoletlaw.com or call 1-855-NICOLET. All right, Jeremy, let's see if we got you in here. 14, and I don't think you need an up or down. Nope, you don't. Kirby says, it's never me, Ben. Way to rub it in, jerk. Hey, we all can't be winners, Kirby. It's all right. I don't win in a lot of things. And that's okay. That's what builds character. All right, Jeremy. Jeremy, you won a Craig Newsome 8x10. I don't know if you can see that or not. My handwriting is not the greatest. You want a Craig Newsome signed 8x10. I'll shoot you an email so I can get your address, and then I will get that shipped out to you. Probably, if I were a betting man, probably next weekend. By next weekend, I'll get that out. Next week, I'll get that out. Billy, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you being here, hanging out. Yeah, awesome to have you, man. All right, let's. Every week, I like to tell a fun story of the week. I like to joke that if you're going to listen to me ramble for an hour, I think you should at least walk out of here with something positive, something new, maybe something new. A lot of you might know these stories that I tell you. But this week's story is actually a fun one. So during the NFL draft, I had a friend staying in town from Australia. We went all over the place. I was showing him different restaurants in the area. I was showing him, we went and did like the Heritage Trail and kind of went around Green Bay and saw a lot of the historical sites. And we went out to the Bart and Cherry Star Museum, which is located at the Rawhide Boys Ranch in New London, Wisconsin. And it reminded me of a fun story out there. So as you're in this museum, they have this glass, this like kind of glass, I don't know, it's like a big display, and the glass has like an etching on it or a lettering on it. And I was talking about when Bart was coming out of college, he was drafted by the Packers in the 17th round. But he was also pursued by the CFL, more specifically the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They had their eyes set on him. They were pursuing him. They were trying to get him to sign. They actually offered him more money to sign with them in the CFL than the Packers offered Bart to sign with the Packers. Well, per the museum, Bart declined the Hamilton Tiger Cats offer because he couldn't see himself playing in those icy, snowy conditions. And it is only fitting that Bart played in the coldest game in NFL history and left a lasting mark doing so. I just thought that was so funny and so appropriate that Bart turns down this offer because he didn't want to play in these extreme conditions, only to play in the Ice Bowl. I mean, talk about just like poetic, right? And not only that, but if you look at Bart's career, if you mention Bart Starr, odds are you are thinking about the Ice Bowl sneak. So to say you want to avoid playing in icy, snowy conditions, and when you say Bart Starr, the play you think of is probably occurring in an icy, snowy condition, just makes it even better. If you've never been, they're open only like 3 days a week, and their hours are kind of weird, but it is such a great place to go check out. The museum is so beautifully done. And people ask, like, well, why are their hours so weird? It's because they're a boys ranch. It's a troubled boys ranch, if you will. It's a campus where troubled youth can try to get their life straightened back out. So they try to be respectful of the kids there. They don't want people to be there at all hours because they want these kids to actually be able to go out and be kids and not feel like they're, people are there watching them and what they're doing. So it's cool to go out there. It's really a beautiful museum. Before I let you guys go, before we sign off for the night, if you haven't done so already, I put together a document here. This is our season prediction. Fill this out. I'd love to talk about this or have us fill this out before the season begins. There's some fun questions on there, like, who do you think's the offensive rookie going to be for the Packers? Who's going to be the team that disappoints this year? Who's going to be the team that overperforms this year? But I want like as many people as possible to fill this out. I'll probably post it on my social medias at some point before the season starts. I want to take as many people filling this out as possible, get as many predictions as possible. And then at the end of the year, we're going to just talk about this. Maybe the game after the Super Bowl. We're going to just see how we fared. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun to make these predictions. I hope you all enjoyed the show. If you guys have any feedback on anything, let me know. As always, I'd love to hear it. I want to make the show as enjoyable as possible for you guys. And I appreciate you immensely. Until next week, have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Go Pack Go. Packers are taking on the Seahawks for final preseason game of the year. We didn't even talk about that game, but that's all right. It's just preseason. So I'm looking forward to watching it, but we didn't need to dissect it too much. So have a great week. Thanks for watching. See you guys same time, same place next week. Thanks so much. Talk to you then. Go Pack Go.